This is Paul Catalina's Top 5 at 5:55.
All right. Top 5 under-the-radar keys to Baylor's win. And these are things that, we've probably talked about a little bit, but I just wanted to bring to light as we kind of wrap up the show. And this is something we asked Scott Drew about. Number 5, no injuries all year. I wanted to bring this up like 2 weeks ago, but superstition stopped me from doing it.
Well, especially with Baylor.
Because I thought as soon as I've been like, hey, they've had no injuries all year, Davion Mitchell would have pulled his hamstring.
Yeah.
But no injuries all year. And, the only players that missed time missed it because of COVID. So that is a stroke of luck that you cannot – I know a lot went into it, good training, being in good shape and all that stuff, but – even still, that's a lot of good luck. There were times where guys took big, hard spills during games. You think, that'll keep him out for the next game.
Hey, I
and then
thought
he's
Adam
back.
Flagler went down against Houston on a runner. He made it, and he came down on somebody's ankle, and then he went down yesterday in a game, and it looked like maybe he re-aggravated it. But, no, you're right. They were very fortunate.
Yeah, that's the one wild card that you can't plan really for at all. You can train as best as you can. I know Charlie Melton and company have done a great job for years and years, but – kind of staying in that same line of things. Yes, they were incredibly fortunate that was the case, but they just looked better than Gonzaga. They just looked the part. And then when they got out of the court, they were the part. They were clearly the stronger, faster, more physical team. It wasn't even a question about it.
Yeah. All right, number 4, the chemistry of this team. Everything was mixed well. Yeah. It just mixed well. No matter what they did or what lineups they had to do, foul trouble for Jared Butler in a game, they could make it without him. And Scott Drew's had a lot of
when they won the game in overtime against West Virginia on the road to win the conference, and he was fouled out. To me, that was a massive moment.
Yeah, and he's had some really good teams though that if somebody got in foul trouble or got hurt, they weren't going to win in those moments. They just weren't going to. No. And this team found a way, and he might have cracked the code on how to navigate that now. Number 3, the uncanny knack for protecting a lead. They did not give up many leads all year, and especially when they had a big one. Now, they would let chunks get bitten into them, and that's what we talked about, the little cat and mouse game they played a lot of the year, but they would – they'd get an 18-point lead or get whittled down to 6 or 4. It gets into 2 possessions, and it was like, hey, guys, and during the timeout, they might have walked over and go, hey, guys, we hope you've had your fun because this is about to get real bad for you right now.
Yeah, they'd kind of get them in the spider web and then get them.
Yeah,
yep.
Exactly. And number 2.
I guess Oklahoma State was the only game they blew the lead because they gave up 31 points in the last 6 to 8 minutes because Kansas, they really trailed most of that game. Yeah.
And number 2, the bench morphing their roles as needed. Sometimes, you're off the bench and you have to do this one thing, but whether it's Matthew Meyer, Adam Flagler, or Everyday John, or whoever it was, whatever their role, they were able to morph it. They were able to say, okay, for this game, I need to do a little bit more of this or that. And that for bench players is hard to do. Most of the time, it's like, okay, well, we're going to put this guy in. He can shoot. He can't really play defense now, but he can shoot. Or he can't shoot, but we need the defense. Or they didn't really have to worry about that.
Well, Gonzaga had a great starting 5. Mm-hmm. And after that, they could not match up with Baylor whatsoever. Mm-hmm. Baylor was a deeper team. You need to have depth to win titles and win titles in the fashion that they did. And, you look at a Matthew Meyer. That guy's going to be in the NBA one day. He's going to be a surefire starter next year. And he's a national champion, not because he started and averaged 30 a game. He's a national champion because he came off the bench and was the best 6th man in the country. You know what I mean? And there's a 7th man and an 8th man that they could point to. Yeah, their depth was ridiculous, and their bench was absolutely massive. There was no letdown for them at any point, really, Like
Matthew Meyer last night was not very good offensively. He looked to me, lost in the moment, but he took a charge. He got a bucket on a turnaround jumper at a key moment.
He had that big
when
cut,
they just needed him for a little bit.
The big cut to the free throw line, and they found him when, who was it that was getting trapped? I think it might have been Teague maybe, and they found him at the free throw line, hit a bucket that, and it's just, they had an answer for everything. And so even if he wasn't typical, 100% Matthew Mayer on offense, he did what he had to do. They all did.
Yeah. And number 1, I got to say, I think it's the conference, the Big 12. I think last night you saw Gonzaga got kind of punched in the mouth against UCLA for the first time in weeks and weeks. And I think it did affect them. I think it did. And Baylor even in spite of the fact that when they won all their games in the Big 12, they won by 8 points or more, except for the two that they lost. But every other game they won by 8 points or more, and they just knew how to respond better. And so they didn't have to respond because they blew Houston out. But Gonzaga just somewhere in their mind, they were lost.
I think, the shot pushed them and people thought it was going to catapult them to like maybe just beating Baylor up or whatever. But I think that they felt like, all right, well, it's ours now. Like, hey, we won this. We're the team of destiny and all this. And Baylor's just sitting back like, you guys have no idea. There was a player from West Virginia last night that got on. A couple of days ago, he said, Baylor's going to sweep the floor of those guys. Everybody was like,
because they played both of them.
Yeah, he played both of them. And so he came out last night, and I could find it if I need to, but he came out last night. He's like, told y'all, I played both these teams, and Baylor's just dogs. Like, those are some dogs right there.
Yeah, they are, man. They played, I said this, with controlled anger in a complimentary way. Good stuff, Paul. Craig with